Hello, this is Miss Andrea. I am a veteran homeschool parent, a homeschool expert, and a guidance counseling consultant. Um, Welcome to my channel. I have 10 years worth of videos, some of them really bad, some of them good. But the last 2 years, I've really been working hard to make sure that people who want to homeschool can. And I just kind of want to catch up. It's been a crazy summer. My father-in-law died, and it really has rocked our entire family. I managed to keep making videos, but honestly, my heart hasn't been in it. And then the last 2 weeks, I have literally been writing a textbook. And it was really cute that my partner and I thought we would write an entire textbook. We got 8 chapters. We're going to finish. We should be done with semester 1 in another week, and we should be done with the entire thing, sometime over the Christmas break. So, like I said, I just wanted to catch up and talk about where I am and talk about something, particularly critical race theory. So, the catching up part. Like I said, I've been making videos, but I haven't really been well focused. I'm really starting to get to that now. And so the last 2 weeks, I've been working on my textbook. We are doing post-classical period, which is basically the year 500 to the year 1450 in world history. World history encompasses history from everywhere in the world. And the reason it's been hard is because the source material for places outside of Europe is thin. And so digging through historical information, through scientific documents, citing all of those things that aren't common knowledge, to give a full view of what world history was like instead of just a Eurocentric point of view has been difficult and slow going, but it is part of our mission to give a full picture of history. And it's so interesting when you start following history by timeline and you're looking at everyone in the world and not just what one group was doing. You start to see the line. You start to see the thread that goes through. A society doesn't get conquered or pillaged and plundered because someone felt like it, generally, except for the Vikings. These things happen because something else has precipitated it somewhere else in the world. So when we pay attention to the whole of history, the timeline, this begot that, begot this, history really comes to life and it becomes a living story that we can enjoy and also learn from. So I made this video a little while back. Basically, critical race theory isn't what you think it is. Teaching and learning from a cultural perspective. And basically, what I explained is the truth about it, is that critical race theory isn't something that was ever really taught in schools, not meant for students, and that the people who are running around screaming critical race theory are really just causing a diversion and also preventing the teaching of real history, which is a problem for me, considering that I'm actively writing history textbooks with a whole world approach. And people would just prefer to continue telling history from the perspective of the conqueror in this horribly disjointed way that doesn't help students see that everything happens for a reason, and the decisions you make are going to affect other people and in turn eventually affect yourself, right? So I got comments from a person, and let's see, here we go. I got comments from a person and who have since deleted their comments, but the comments are still in my email. Not the whole thing, because things are cut off. And I just want to go over some of the things that she came at me for. And she says, I'm thrilled when history and civics is taught more in depth, but the testimony from kids is not a lie, plus footage of how teachers force students to engage in developmentally damaging assignments. They attribute behaviors to skin colors, and there is proof, not expert opinions. Kids and teachers' own words. This is not the way to teach facts about history. Facts is the problem. It is painfully obvious in history where the power struggles were. Is it? I totally support more diverse history. Do you? And our kids need heroes, not rappers. I refuse to call these kids liars, and there is no denying teachers' own words. It is not right that they should teach a kid with a food insecurity at home that them being skinny means they're less oppressed. That is one example of how damaging blah, blah, blah. And you can't see my replies because she deleted the thread. But basically, I was like, first of all, why did you drag rappers into this? It doesn't have anything to do with the price of tea in China, right? Second of all, I repeat, critical race theory isn't a mandated way of education in schools. Now, there are teachers who don't know how to teach history from Adam and try to make up exercises. And I even relayed with her something that I've put in several of my videos over the years, which is when my son was small, we were in a homeschool program. When my son was small, we were in a homeschool program, maybe 4th or 5th grade, and they were teaching about slavery. And my son was the only black person in the room. And a very well-meaning teacher, who I ended up liking a great deal, pointed to my child and said, if it were such and such a year, he couldn't be your friend. So he got in the car and told me this, and I called the leader of the program and said, so what we're not going to do is make my son the example for this unit in race. So yeah, it happens, but that doesn't mean it's critical race theory. It doesn't mean that it's mandated. It means that teachers need to learn how to teach, right? And it didn't. So then later, a couple of weeks later, he was like, I need a bag of candy. And I was like, why? And he was like, because we're doing an exercise on slavery and we have to pay the slaves. And I was like, boy, wasn't no slaves ever paid. And they sure as hell weren't paid candy, and had another talk, but my approach was educational, and they understood that it grated me and why. And so if this happens in safe, protected homeschool circles, then it's surely going to happen in schools. But that doesn't, just because it's wrong doesn't make it critical race theory. Right? Right. So she comes back because I was like, nuh-uh. And she was like, Miss Andre, you claim the kids are lying. I don't appreciate that. And that was after I said I don't appreciate this being about rappers suddenly. Because honestly, that's racist. To take a conversation where race is mentioned, but to pull my culture, my popular culture into it because you can, felt racist to me. So, Miss Andrea, you claim the kids are lying. I don't appreciate that. Plenty of footage to show what is being taught. No reason to gaslight people. gaslight. I'm in full agreement with you that the training needs to help children of all colors and backgrounds not feel bad about themselves. CRT is doing that, and there is a better way. By now, so much money has been wasted going down this wrong street. It's shameful. The reason I mentioned rappers is the same as the McDonald's study. Kids know McDonald's, but they don't know who Washington is. Same with glorified rap artists. They can name rappers, not historical figures. So why didn't you say McDonald's to me? Why rappers? Anyway, the thing is, a lot of money is being wasted legislating CRT, which isn't the problem. Teacher training is the problem. All right. So here we go. Miss Andrea, teaching through the lens of CRT is how some people put it, because she finally heard me that CRT isn't a thing. So she mixed the words, and I've done a quick search, and now everyone is using the phrase teaching through the lens of CRT, because everyone understands that CRT was never a problem, but they're not willing to let it go. Oh, sorry, I just raptured it, but, you know, they're just like not willing to let it go. So, of course, they have dozens of names for it, because I have to make something up. But it is viewing everything from a racial perspective is why the term CRT has stuck. Stop making up stuff. I know that this was developed as legal theory. Good. Because I told you. The attack on CRT has nothing to do with history being taught. It absolutely does. Because it's preventing people from teaching whole world history. Because somebody conquering someone else might make somebody feel bad for a moment. It's the way it is taught, and these teachers are not psychologists. Agreed. The kids are already confused at why teachers want to embarrass them with questions or force them to verbalize something they don't believe. The skewed argument perpetuated by the media is that anti-CRT is anti-history, and it's simply not true. Anti-CRT is anti-history because CRT has nothing to do with the way history is mandated to be taught. So making laws to prevent CRT is actually preventing whole world history from being taught, which is why I've been locked in a condo for the last 2 weeks writing a history book. Because you can't even find history on certain parts of the world and during certain time periods. When it was there, when it happened, when it existed. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. Okay. Ooh, Miss Andrea, it's not about disagreeing. It's about facts. I implore you, as you are a teacher, to look into and find the videos of these children. Okay. I know they exist. I know there are kids whose teachers targeted them weird and didn't teach them properly. Doesn't mean the teachers were teaching as they're supposed to be teaching. It means the teachers are idiots. Individual teachers, not a system. A teacher telling students that white people have power over black people is wrong. But true. That was one videotaped example from the horse's mouth. Another is equating being thin to being less oppressed, which is also on film. And also true. How does that make a child with food insecurity feel? Since I don't have a channel, I don't have a platform, but if debate isn't welcome here, I get the hint. Please research is all I ask. That last part was me saying, thank you for your amazing insight. Perhaps you can school us all on it on your channel. Because sometimes I'm petty. And then, you know, we were like, adieu. So, this isn't the end of me talking about critical race theory, although I wish it was. Actually, maybe it is. No, it's not, because I promised I would do a, I was going to do a video with my friend Kate and she wants to talk about critical race theory. So we're going to do that, but hopefully we'll put it to bed at that point. In the meantime, teaching history from a whole world approach is just so important, and it makes learning it so easy to understand that the reason that the Mongols or the Visigoths were pushing into North China was because the Vikings were coming down and invading them. Like, we need to know what begot what, not that just these people came and invaded China. These savages came and invaded. These people were pushed out of their homes and they moved south. Like, it takes the nasty out of it sometimes. It takes the barbarian out of it sometimes when we find out what happened to that barbarian culture that caused that barbarian culture to then come and mess with the civilized culture. And this is my goal, and this is how I'm working to teach history, and this is why I'm working so hard, and I'm going to keep trying to make videos every week. But boy, am I distractible on GP normally. So I enjoy doing this, and I want to continue. I'm happy to answer any homeschool questions anyone might have. Feel free to tap me. Until next time.